survive, cause most of y'all don't make it. While the rest is sitting at home and scared to take it. The life we lead is not one you can fake it till you make it. And I can't lie, that's why I laugh when they be hating. They so far removed, they still debate on who the best. But the real know that the best don't have to flex. You might not ever hear a bar or see the check. See the fake will never see you unless you step. Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
Yeah. This is Common Sense PhD.
Make it make sense.
This is Common Sense PhD. With Papa Keith and company.
Make it make sense. I love it when they bring the soul to the beat. They telling me to stay inside, it's not safe in the streets. Got black babies dying, I see blood on the leaves. If I see a devil, I might just take off the sheets. Do what I do to live my life. I care less about these dudes who just sit online and type, who love to criticize and say, what would you do for the price? In the same breath saying what you do with your life, what you do to survive. Cause most of y'all don't make it, while the rest is sitting at home and scared to take it. The life we lead is not one you can fake it till you make it. And I can't lie, that's why I laugh when they be hating. They so far removed, they still debate on who the best. But the real know that the best don't have to flex. You might not ever hear a bar or see the check. See the fake will never see you unless you step. Make it make sense.
Make
it make sense.
Yeah. This is Common Sense PhD.
Make it make sense.
We about to make it make a whole lot of sense. Hey,
Yes,
what's
sir.
up, man? This is Papa Keith. Welcome to Common Sense PhD, where we just make it plain as day for you. We spit the things that, like, just on a real level where everybody should be able to pick up and understand. I have the amazing opportunity to talk to some amazing people, in my career on the radio, but I'm limited to some of the conversations I could have on the radio. I don't get to ask certain things or have certain conversations with some people that I really respect. Talking about some people I really respect, my guest today on my third episode, man. I'm a huge fan. This is my brother. I do short bios because most of the people that I rock with, they don't like, all the drawn out bios and stuff. So I'm going to get right to it. My brother, my special guest, RICO Love. He's a Grammy Award-winning songwriter, producer, artist, music exec whose pen has helped shape modern R&B and hip hop, known for writing and producing hits for artists like Usher, Beyonce, Chris Brown, Trey Songz, Mary J. Blige. He has been behind some of the culture's biggest records, including Throwback, Sweet Dreams, and one of my favorite songs of all times, There Goes My Baby by Usher, all right? And beyond. RICO has built a reputation as a sharp voice on relationships, creativity, business, and culture, bringing both industry insight and real-life perspective. As an artist and founder of Division One, he continues to develop talent while pushing conversations that make people think. On Common Sense PhD, he brings music wisdom, relationship talk, and a make it make sense perspective that only RICO Love can deliver. My brother RICO Love, thank you so much. Welcome.
What's up, bro? How you feeling?
I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. I got to give some gold roses before I kick it off, man. Of course, you have been like a low-key mentor to me in the sense that you, over the years, have dropped so many gems about life, music business, and so many other things that you're just knowledgeable of, and you've been able to express to people who want to listen to it, man, and they've been truly gems. You are one of, like, my favorite, what I like to call gem droppers. You know what I mean? So this is a great opportunity that I have to have you drop some gems with me personally outside of the radio station on my podcast here. So I just want to say thank you, brother.
Oh, it's my pleasure, man. I got a huge, tremendous respect for you and your voice and your energy. You're always positive. You're always full of love. And, when people become as big of a brand as you are in the state of Florida and Miami especially, it's around the world, actually. It's rare for them to maintain that humility. You know what I mean? So you have always this energy of meekness. And I think that it's, exemplary.
Thank you, King, man. That means a lot coming from you. So we're going to jump right into it, man. We're going to start off with music, legacy, and creativity. You've written so many hits for so many artists. When you write for others, how do you protect your own voice while helping to shape theirs?
Oh man, that's a great question. Actually, my voice is theirs. When I'm writing for them, I'm writing it from my perspective. It's almost like a director who directs a film. When you watch Goodfellas by directed by Martin Scorsese, or even Casino, that is the main characters, the leads, are his personalities. Even when we watch Taxi Cab, it was enraged inside of him
Wow.
that he had to put or have Robert De Niro channel, because it was about him and his feeling and his anger and his aggression. When you think about Goodfellas at the time when he made that film, it seeing blood spatter or seeing guys pistol whipped, and that wasn't a normal thing in cinema. So him to do that was a extension of him and how he feels. So with me, with writing records, it's the same thing. It's extension of my emotions and my take on how I feel like, or how I observe them. So I'm basically just describing a situation from my point of view and my perspective. And so it's not that I'm taking away from me. All of it is me. It's just
Mm.
my position on the song is that of the creator and the producer, and they are the vessel. But I'm trying to say the thing most commonly said in a way that's never been said before, but also trying to give my take on what I believe they think or feel, and kind of, give it to them in a way that they can translate.
That's what's up. What was one song you wrote that people love, but they had no idea how much personal truth was buried in it?
Oh my God, I can give you three.
Let's
uh,
go.
Heart Attack by Trey Songz, 4 a.m. by
Hold
Melanie
up. Stop,
Fiona.
stop, 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 stop. I'm sorry. Heart Attack? You wrote Heart Attack?
Yeah, yeah, Heart Attack for
Yo.
Trey.
So again, I'm gonna pause to say that Rico Love has always been my favorite songwriter of all time. Period. End of
Oh,
story. But the fact that I'm now finding out, on top of There Goes My Baby and the other songs that you wrote, I'm finding out now that you wrote Heart Attack, it just
yeah.
solidifies it.
Yeah.
Solidifies it. Because there's only a few songs as a man, personally, and I'm only speaking from my experience, that I'll be in my feelings on, and I don't care who's
Yeah.
watching. I don't care what's
Yeah.
going on. I'm in there like, in my
Yeah.
emotions, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. We share something so common, but still so rare. And I'm in awe. I've never been here before. So
Yeah.
far, but we're still climbing, even here inside these walls, breaking each other heart. And it don't. And it's so close because we're so in too deep. Can't think about giving it up. And I think about. I wrote that song. I wrote Melanie Fiona's 4 a.m. and I wrote Mr. Wrong for Mary in the same day, in the same day. And I'm not
Wow.
saying it to brag about the song. I'm saying that that's emotionally, I couldn't get out of that space. I wrote about that week or that month. I was just writing that type of, to the point where
Mm.
guys were coming to me in the studio like, "Oh, you okay, bro?" Like it was just depressing,
Mm.
sad, emotional music. And yeah, so those songs, people have no clue that they were about me and what I was dealing with. I was the guy, I was Mr. Wrong. I was the guy from 4 a.m. and I was going through the heart attack situation.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. I know a lot of that is personal. In
Yeah.
today's streaming era, has songwriting lost value or has the business just changed?
I don't think songwriting has lost value. I think that finding ways to make sure that we are paid. They still need songs. They still need lyrics. So it's just about making sure they properly paid. But that's a fight that we've always had to deal with as songwriters and creatives, and it'll turn around. Streaming hasn't
That's
even
what's up.
touched most of the world yet. So once the entire world monetizes, think about it, streaming is only monetized in about 12 to 15% of the world. Once it's fully monetized, getting a billion streams will be like easy in a month and a half, 2 months, a billion streams. And so I just think that it's not that people don't value the music, it's just that, or the creatives, it's just that I think people feel like everybody can do it. And it's
Mm.
become so common that most people could sit down and come up with a song, and it used to seem so far-fetched to create the way that we create, but now it's at their fingertips to do it. The difference is being able to make timeless music. You just can't just roll out of bed and do that unless unless you hone your gift and respect the art. And over time, people realize it. And I think right now it's frustrating for songwriters. They feel like people just coming in and doing whatever and becoming successful. But what's proper and what's real is going to always last. It's just about how consistent will you last. Will you last? Will you stand the test of time? Because the gift will always stand the test of time. It's just about will you give up before the gift is realized.
That's what's up. Does AI has AI played a role yet in the industry in terms of songwriting?
Oh yeah, I think it plays a major role, but I think also it's the same as Serato. When DJs would, get on the Serato, they hated it when it first came out. They were angry. Paris Hilton was DJing, and Snoop Dogg was a DJ, and it was like, what's happening? And DJs were angry. But over time, Paris Hilton is gonna stop DJing. You know what I mean? Snoop and Snoop stopped DJing. And guess
Right.
what? It was a tool for real DJs. And now, at first, they were like, man, we used to have to carry crates and we paid our dues. Now they're like, I don't have to carry crates anymore. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
easier.
Right.
So at first, AI will start off as something that is frustrating because a person who doesn't love music will be able to type in some prompts and make a song. But once
Mhm.
those people realize that they still won't get rich quick, there will be few who will. But once majority of people realize that, still gonna be a bunch of work. They still not liking my songs. This still doesn't guarantee that this song is gonna be a hit just because it's AI. Then they'll quit and they'll get out of the way, and it'll be an easier tool for us to use and utilize for the things that purists can use it for.
Evolution. Talking about that, you've seen R&B evolve from real storytelling to what some call vibes music. What did we lose and what did we gain?
Oh man, we lost. I think the work ethic that goes
Mm,
into really crafting a record. We lost the experience, but I think we gained the ability to do things quicker, to get more things done, which gives us more opportunities to share more ideas. Um, so I think that's a beautiful thing. But I think that what we stand to gain is going to benefit us way more than what we lose. But I'm an optimist. I really believe in being seeing a positive in all of these things and not being afraid. I don't believe that God gave us these gifts for a machine to come and take them from us.
that
And if
part.
it and if that machine comes in, it's about us being creative enough and hustlers enough to because we still got to hustle. I don't care how talented you are. The reason I'm able to have the success I have because I work really hard and I'm a hustler. I mean, I just know how to go get it. So when you have that mentality on top of the gift, what happens is you find a way. When it looks like it's no way, you find a way.
That's what's up. What separates a hit record from a timeless record?
Hit records could be a jingle. Hit just means it's popular. Hit means that everybody
Mm,
knows it today. Timeless record means it's always gonna make me feel something. When I listen to "Endless Love" by Lionel Richie and Diana Ross right now, I feel it.
mm,
That's timeless. That's classic. When I listen to "You Got It Bad" by Usher, when I listen to In Love," when I listen to "Heard It Through the Grapevine," when I listen to Biggie, "Hypnotize" or "Juicy," or when I listen to Jay Z, "Song Cry." Like it doesn't matter. A lot of the
mm.
songs, "Song Cry" wasn't a hit on the charts, but it's timeless. Some of the best
Yeah,
songs, you'll look back and realize, oh, that wasn't a hit. No, it wasn't even a hit. It didn't do well, but it just stood the test of time because it just makes you feel something. And
that's
music
what's
that
up.
makes you feel is always gonna be timeless.
That's a fact, man. Thanks for sharing that. We're gonna shift
Yeah.
gears to relationships and making things make sense, which is really the moniker of this podcast, Common Sense PhD. We're just trying to make things make sense. A lot of your music deals with love, heartbreak, and accountability. Why do men struggle so much with emotional honesty?
I think that men have a hard time being honest about emotions because we're not celebrated when we're honest about our emotions. Everybody
Mm,
says they want the truth from us, but as soon as we do, we're sassy and oh, he's a princess. He want princess treatment. It's like when a man is vulnerable and he's honest about what he feels, it's not celebrated the way that people act like it would be. So, but also it's just the fear of rejection and ego and not being manly. But also on top of that, once we finally do, we see tons of examples of why we shouldn't. I just saw Le'Veon Bell get on social media and on some interview, and he talks about how his baby mother is dating Future, and he tell yeah she did this and telling the business. And although I think that that's in poor taste, and I would not handle myself like that, I think your personal business should stay personal. We look on the same situation. You see Megan Thee Stallion 2 days before tell her business and be celebrated. Now, this is not a knock to Megan. This is not a knock to Le'Veon. I'm just trying to show you the two people doing the same thing, and one person is rewarded for it, another person is shunned for it. So I think that's why men have a hard time emotionally being honest.
And also, funny enough, you talk about Le'Veon Bell. He got knocked even before that for commenting on 21 Savage and Lotto being pregnant for him
Hmm.
and him still being married, and women was knocking him for that too. You know,
Yeah,
so
but
it's
if a
like
woman would have said, if a woman, by the way, I think he shouldn't have said that. By the way, so I don't want to, I
right,
don't
right.
agree with men running their mouth about other people' business. But the thing about it is you watch Tasha K do the same thing every day, and everybody's like, yes. You watch Wendy Williams do it for years, and they're like, yes. So the
Mm,
problem is once a man does those things and he speaks out or speaks his truth or any opinion about anything, it's like
mhm.
it's not celebrated. But if so I think that people ask the question why it's difficult, and I think the answer that people want to hear is that because men in the trap. No, it's because when you do, history shows us that you're not rewarded for that. You're actually
That's
mocked
what's
for
up.
it.
Yeah, that part. Has modern dating gotten harder because people have too many options or because they have too little patience?
Man, I don't think that people don't have the options that they think they have. I think that's the problem. I think people assume that they have options, like a girl who has a voluptuous figure and a beautiful face and a BBL and long weave down the back, and somebody that people lust after. I think she believes she has an option. Like, no, you don't have an option. You have a lot of people that would love to be with you physically and with you sexually. That to me, now if you're saying if you have the option of who you want to sleep with, yeah, you have those options. But as far as a real relationship, no, you don't have as many options as you think you do. And same with men. I think men believe that because if I date a woman right now for 2 months and I propose to her, I'm pretty sure she's going to say yes, right?
Mm.
So I have the option. I have the option on who's
Mm.
going to marry me, but I don't have the option of who I genuinely am going to connect with. And I think men and women have those same issues. A woman can sleep with whoever she wants to sleep with. A man, a successful man, good looking man, take care of himself. I'm sure he could marry probably who he wants to marry, right? So
Right.
you want one thing, and historically, I want the other. These two things don't make us look like they make it seem like we have the options, but the fact of the matter, truth of the matter is that you're not getting the thing that you actually want. A man who
Mm.
moves on really quick and remarries quick doesn't mean he's actually found happiness. He can. A woman who moves on quick doesn't mean she's found happiness. She can, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the case. Or a woman saying, well, I can have anybody. Men want me, and I can get. Yeah, you can get anybody you want for tonight. You know, men can marry a person because women would be open and happy and chase marriage. Doesn't mean you're going to find a person that's for you and your connection. And also, I think I want you to really note that whenever I speak about these things, I hold men and women equally accountable. I'm not the guy
Yeah.
that's going to get on here and try to bash men, and I'm not definitely not going to be the guy who's bashing women. I just think being honest is being able to say we both are flawed and we both have our issues. We just both have to start seeing them and being honest about it.
Talking about being honest, I want to have a make it make sense moment, right? With you, people say they want real love but run from vulnerability. Why?
Because vulnerability is scary because it's exposing yourself. When you're exposed, you're new, you're naked. And just right now, if somebody told you to take your clothes off in the middle of you know of spa, right? I went to China and it was a spa, and in order to walk into the spa, you have to disrobe in front of all these men. And as comfortable as I am with myself, it still was I was taken aback, like, oh, I gotta take my, and everybody's walking around naked, right?
Yeah.
Now, as it's some but men is all this, but it's still like, oh, I'm naked, right? I think that vulnerability is the same way. Is forced to see me. You have to see me, and you seeing me sometimes can be scary. You know what I mean? And it's that's why vulnerability is difficult because you actually have to show yourself, and people are afraid to be shown. They're afraid to for the world to see them.
That's what's up. I'm gonna ask this question here, and I'm gonna answer it as well because a lot of what I do here with Common Sense PhD is also therapeutic for me. So as I'm learning from what you're saying, I also want to be able to express my view on certain things as well. So I'm gonna shoot it to you, and then I'm gonna say how I feel about it as well. What's one relationship lesson you learned the hard way that changed how
Ooh.
you move?
Oh man. Uh learning monogamy, learning to be
Mm,
faithful. That's something that has been an extreme inconvenience for me. And I think that a lot of times people look at it as like, you know, it's not just character. It is your character and being honest and being able to be with one person and be honest about that. That's character. But the inconvenience that comes along with not being faithful, like the problems that have come my way because of that.
mm,
Oh my God, bro, you cannot put a price on how deeply it has affected my life. So I think that what I've learned is if I'm going to make the decision to be with somebody and I'm going to share with them that they're the one person I want to be with, then
yeah,
I have to maintain. I have to be faithful. I have to because it's such a bro. It's an inconvenience. It's like the worst inconvenience ever. You know what I mean? Dealing with,
yeah,
you know, bro. I don't want to ever have to go through that and deal with that. It just sucks. So
yeah,
to me, that's more important. Is learning that and having my own peace. And
right.
that peace is, bro. You can't, you can't put a price on that peace.
That's what's up, man. That's powerful, man. Thanks for sharing that. For me, I've always had the ability to have patience in relationships, and I've generally enjoyed dealing with women who've been through certain things because of the patience that I had. I figured, like, that was almost like my duty, to be able to do that. And what I learned is that that comes with so much, and it takes such a toll on you as an individual, that sometimes you need recovery, although you think that you're benefiting and you think that you're helping this person and it gives you a sense of purpose to be able to do this for the person. You don't understand the damage is also creating with inside of yourself, that you also have to now find the time or the place to repair that as you're helping someone else as well. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
so I mean, I would push through, and I would just be doing my thing, and I'm not even understanding how damaged I am. You know what I'm saying? It's like pushing through something, and then when you get on the other side of it, your shield is destroyed. You got scars all over your skin.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you don't even know who you are coming out of that. You
That's
know what I'm
real, bro.
saying?
That's so
Yeah,
real. That's so
so
real.
yeah, so I
Mm-hmm.
had to, learn that, I have to like preserve myself, because even
Mm-hmm.
after you do that for someone, or even think that you're doing that for someone because you think they need it, they could turn around and be like, I ain't asked you to do
Right. Oh my God. That's people favorite thing to say. I ain't asked you to do that.
that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And you looking
It,
at yourself like, yo, what
man,
the
they will
you
accept
know?
everything, but they ain't asked you to do it.
Right, right.
That's crazy, bro.
That's what's
It's a
up,
cold
man.
game. It's a cold game.
In your opinion, are love songs still teaching people how to love, or are they teaching dysfunction?
Oh man, I think they still teaching people how to love. I think that anything that teaches dysfunction is not a love song, and I think that a lot of
Mm.
times the people misconstrue a slow song to a love song.
Ah, ah, good
It's just,
point.
the truth of the matter is like when something is real and honest and pure, it's going the message could should come home. It'll bring the message home.
I always had an issue with this, and maybe you could speak on it as a songwriter who've probably written. I don't know if you have written these particular songs, but I know you've written for the artists who've sung these particular songs. A lot of the artists during a certain era in the 2000s and even up to this date always have reference to being with your girl, like my girl. And I would always be like, yo, you're an R&B artist. Like, what do you want with my girl? Why does it have? Why do you make?
Yeah,
Why are you
yeah.
making songs about wanting my girl?
I'll tell you
Is
why.
that can you kind of like break that down for me? Because that's always been confusing to me.
What happens is there's so many women unhappy in relationships,
Mm,
and they stick around. And the song, I love your girl, I'll take your girl, and I want you. That's for the women because that's what they're trying to show you. Yeah, somebody else will come take me if you don't treat me right. So guys don't sing songs just to sing them. They sing songs because they know women want to hear them. And
mm,
it's not like any confrontation towards another guy. It's basically hinting to the woman. This is what the woman wants to hear. I want my man to know that somebody else will come get me. Not realizing like Trey Songz wants to fuck you, my love. Like, like yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I
right,
don't know if you know it or not, but Chris Brown is not
right.
interested in taking you so he can marry you. No. You know, these guys, the big drug dealer in your neighborhood is not like I want her to be my wife. No. She looked good.
Mm,
I got a shorty here that I'm sick of laying up with too. You know what I mean? So I would
right,
like to
right,
take yours for tonight. And I think
right.
that people kind of misconstrue those things. Does that mean that sometimes guys don't take a girl and marry her? Because it happens sometimes. A guy will take your girl and actually end up being with her. But for the most part, guys don't want to take your girl to the altar. You want to take it to the
Right.
hotel. You know what I mean?
Love the clarity on that. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
And hopefully the women get some perspective and not live in that delusion. All
Yeah,
right. So
right.
listen.
Mm,
Let's move on to culture, masculinity, and current issues.
mm.
There's a lot of talk about masculinity, excuse me, online. What does healthy manhood look like to you in 2026?
Honesty, like you said earlier. Honesty
Mm,
is being able to say what you feel. Remember, you said about emotional honesty, why men struggle with it.
yes.
Masculinity means that I'm not afraid to express who I am in fear that it will shame me or make me less of a man. True masculinity is not bravado. It's not this tough guy bravado. What true masculinity
Mm,
is I'm a protector, I'm a provider, but I also feel and I also am aware of my feelings and I know how to express my feelings. And I don't care how that makes anybody else feel. As long as I'm not being toxic or hurting them, I'm saying what my truth is, what my feelings are, and regardless of whether or not the world is ready to accept that. That's true masculinity. And I think that it's been kind of like disguised as this macho thing, and which is not the case. Macho
mm,
is clothed in fear. You know what I mean? Being arrogant and loud and abrasive, that's a sign of fear. You know what I mean? If
mm.
you show me a loud, aggressive, rambunctious guy, I'm gonna show you somebody scared to death. You know,
Mm.
so I think that understanding the difference between the two is key. It's you know, it's the key to all of it, understanding it all.
I warned y'all, this man is a gem dropper, man. Social media made everyone a brand for the most
Hmm.
part. Do you think it has made people more authentic or more performative?
Performative, of course, man. Everybody want to put on. Everybody want to put on, man.
Mm,
I took my kids to a fast food restaurant many years ago, and a girl was tweeting, "Oh, Rico Love just came to, with his kids and blah blah." Blah. And I look at her page, and she got 85,000 followers. I'm like, she work at the fast food place. How you got 85,000 people? And I'm like, that's crazy. Everybody's famous. So now
yeah.
we can't even just live life or experience anything. I remember saying something to a young lady, and she said, "Wait, can you say that again? I want to get it on my Instagram." I'm like, "No,
Mm,
not like that's so." Everything is a performance, and I just think that once you know how to just stop and smell the roses, man, you'll be all the more happier. And
yeah,
it's tragic that we have to that people are so consumed with it, but I think that sooner or later people will see like what really matters.
that's what's up, man. We hopeful. We hopeful, brother.
Yeah, yeah, hopeful.
We
Yeah.
hopeful. Hip hop and R&B often shape how people think about women, relationships, and status. Does the culture have a responsibility to mature?
Oh, absolutely. Everything has to get older and progress. Um, Jazz used to be really trendy and pop, and as the musicians and the jazz artists got older, the lounges and the jazz bars and the spots became more mature. I think hip hop has a responsibility to do that. R&B has a responsibility to do that. You're not going to be able to do the same things. You're not going to be 70, 80 years old sitting around smoking weed, doing like this with your homies in the club. Like, no, you're going to go and listen to it, and it's going to be, you're going to get dressed, and you have to, bro. Like, you just look ridiculous. You have to get to the point where, even with rock, man, they might put on their jeans and their t-shirt and their blazer and go check out their favorite rock band, and eat a bratwurst and have a beer and enjoy it, and then go home to their family. We have to do this. So all music is gonna grow because people have to grow, and the majority of people don't go backwards. If you think about it, like most hip hop heads from our era, or when we were younger, they didn't grow up to become doofuses. There's a few that did, but the majority of us just nostalgic and remember the times, and we vibe. And when Wu Tang and Nas go on tour, we go and see the show, and we hang out and we go home. Nobody's sitting in the parking lot shooting dice and drinking 40s. No, bro. Like, no, we grown. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna mature. The setting's gonna mature. Everything is gonna grow. Even as ridiculous as we think these kids look and some of the things they do, they're gonna eventually grow up.
that's what's
It
up.
has to happen.
All right, let's shift gears to business and life gems. Or you've dropped so many already, but when you went from songwriter to entrepreneur and executive, what's a business lesson every creative should understand early?
Business. Man, never take it personal, and always pay attention to people who fall out with you because the deal went bad.
Mm,
Like if me and you are cool and the deal doesn't go right. Now, I'm not saying if I steal from you or if I did something shady to you, yeah, that's different. But I'm just talking about if we had disagreement on terms and we decided not to go through with a deal that I always pay attention to the guy who takes that away from the deal and now is acting differently towards you. That's the biggest sign of biggest huge most huge red flag to me. You know what I mean? You got to be able to have maturity enough to say this didn't work out, but we cool. Then we'll get them the next time, and it has to be that
mm.
way. Same with lawyers. Lawyers don't sit around in rooms and hate each other because of a deal going bad. No, they see each other at the banquet and they're fine. It's all good. You know what I mean?
That's
We
what's
have
up.
to behave that way.
We have to learn these things too, man. So thank you for that gem. If Rico Love was earning a PhD in common sense, what would your dissertation be on? What's the big truth people keep over complicating?
Man, my dissertation would be about just because something makes sense to me doesn't mean it makes sense to others, and just because I have the maturity. I always say this to people when I'm talking about things, and I'm like, "Well, people view it like this. Well, why would they do that? Stop saying things from your perspective. You may be in a space where you're more mature." Or like a woman who says, "Well, why do these women beg and want guys to take care of them and they can't just get their own money?" Yeah, you get your own money, so you know how to think that way. Not saying I agree with those women for that space, but I understand that they see things differently. Do I
Mm,
understand their perspective? No, but I do understand that they have one. So I think the idea that common sense is common is ridiculous. It's not. Most people are very selfish and shallow and only see things from their lens. The maturity comes from being able to observe things from other people's perspective. That way you can understand each other, even if we don't agree. Understanding somebody and agreeing with them is don't have to line up. We just have to understand that they have a different view, and then trying our best to see, all right, what was their upbringing like? What did they go through? What type of trauma did they deal with? And then you can kind of be a little bit more sensitive. Doesn't mean you have to spend time with them. Doesn't mean you have to be their friend. Doesn't mean you have to stay in a relationship with this person. What it means is that you can try to understand as best as you can why they behave the way they behave. And even if sometimes that helps you more understand also what role you may have played. So my dissertation was just to be on common sense isn't common.
gem drop. Gem drop. What's the big truth people keep overcomplicating?
Big truth that people keep overcomplicating. Man, that you know, love between two people should just be purely about love between two people. People believe that a man has to take you on 6 trips a year. A man has to buy you Chanel. A woman has to look a certain way and have to be a certain way, and that they gotta show up like this all the time, or I think love should be about how do you make me feel. You know, oh, don't take me on a coffee date on our first date. I don't. I'm not no cheap. What are you more interested in, getting to know me or going to Sexy Fish and taking a picture in the bathroom? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So once you start realizing that we complicate the idea of togetherness and we disregard the idea of togetherness and we kind of make it more about the optics and the experience of being out and being on the scene and being seen, that part of it, man, that destroys us every time.
Yeah, man. Big facts, big gem right there. Appreciate it, man. Um, can you speak a little bit? I'm going to shift to another gear, but before I do that, can you speak a little bit on your spirituality? Where,
Oh
where,
man.
where do you stand with that?
Oh man, I'm extremely spiritual. I'm a Christian. I practice Christianity, but I'm also not a fool, you know. And I think that
Mm,
most Christians are associated with foolishness because of the ignorance and not being able to open up your mind that other people have different beliefs. And we were taught very young that heaven and hell, and if you don't believe in this thing that I believe in, then you're going to burn in hell, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. And I know that most people don't want to hear that. Most Christians aren't mature enough to even hear anything other than that. And even when there are people listening to this right now who are saying, "Oh no, I can't get with that. You had me up until there," right? But that's just immaturity. And I think that what the biggest, greatest way to control anybody is to use religion. And once you start realizing that they've used religion to control you and to make you believe and act out this way or believe that this thing is only the way. If I tell you that this is the only way to get to heaven, then I can point to the other side and say they're all going to hell. And if they're going to hell, then I can make them an enemy of you easily. If I convince you that this
mm,
person is doing something that's gonna make them burn in hell. They with the devil, and you're with God. All right, now I'm gonna tell you, pick up a gun. I want you to shoot those people because they are trying to take you. They want to take away from you and your relationship with God. That's how they trick you. I think
mm,
maturity comes in the idea of spirituality and still believing in what I believe. I still believe in Jesus Christ, but I'm not gonna look at a man who prays to Allah or who meditates to Buddha or is a Hindu or goes to the mosque or the Sikh. I'm not gonna look at that person and say, "Oh, poor guy, you're gonna burn in hell." That's insane. I think we're all
yeah,
speaking the same thing in a different language. We're saying the same thing in just a different language. When I say language, I mean the language that we speak to God in. There's only one God. We're all communicating to that one God. We're just going about it different ways. And that's once we start understanding that, bro, we get a lot further. We will get a lot further.
that's what's up. With a person who has so much knowledge about so many different things, and you're able to put it on paper and create songs and stuff like that. What are your outlets, Rico? Where are you able to turn to get back? You know, even if it's on that spiritual level.
Man, what I do, excuse me, just gonna plug this phone up so it won't die. Um,
All
what
right.
I do, I try my best to work out and you know work out, hit that sauna. I meditate. I get my quiet time, and I reflect. I read books. I watch films. Pouring into myself creatively is the way for me to kind of center myself. And I've been on this fitness journey for almost a year now. I mean, like really
Mm,
dedicated to it, and it's changed everything for me, bro. It's changed how I feel about
right.
myself, changed how I feel about just life in general. And I think it's kind of like, man, maybe a different person, maybe a different person. So I use that as a way to center myself.
That's what's up. I follow you on social media. You know, I've seen you about and stuff like that. You pour a lot into your children. You know, your daughter. If you don't mind, respectfully, can you speak about what that does for you and your relationship with your daughter?
Man, it's not even a thing that like does. It's just a natural. You know what I mean? Like I just love my baby. You know, I think she's the most beautiful girl in the world, and I think that my relationship with her is the most important, one of the most important relationships. You know, with my son as well. But I just love spending time with her. I love knowing that I have the responsibility of making sure that she becomes a person of value and making sure that she knows she's loved and doesn't need to go and find it in different places. And I feel responsible for her in the most healthy way, in a way that it doesn't scare me. I embrace it.
How do you deal with any challenges that may come if you don't see eye to eye with your children's mother or your daughter's mother, and how that could affect your relationship with your child?
Oh man, my relationship with my kid is first of all, I don't involve the two together.
Mm,
I don't argue. Um, I don't make it my business to spend a lot of time even communicating in that way with my kid's mom. I think she has her life, I have my life. I know that my daughter's safe when she's with her. She knows that my daughter's safe, or my son as well, safe when they're with me. And that's the most important thing. We might disagree on certain things, but I don't give it too much energy. So I'm not going to ruin my day thinking about things that I can't control. I'm going to always be respectful. I've never, ever, and will never talk bad about the mother of my children in front of my kids or in front of anybody for that matter. I try my best to keep positive. I'm an optimist though. I just believe in being positive and speaking life. It's not a I don't get along. I mean, my kids' mom aren't friendly. We're not friends. But it doesn't mean that I have to communicate to her negatively. I just think if
mm,
you can't, how they say if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say anything. I just kind of keep it
right.
very brief. Keep it very brief. And the way it's set up is really cool. It's easy. I keep my daughter from Monday to Monday. So I drop my daughter off to school on Monday. That following Monday, I pick her up again. I keep it the whole week until the next Monday. So I don't have to go to, it's rare that I have to go to her house and see her and all that stuff. Just keep it cool, man. And I think that my kids have they understood. It's been like this for almost 6 years now. So like they know they have two. My son is with me full time, but my daughter knows it's two homes. You know, this week I'm here, the next week I'm there, and it's cool. But you're not gonna catch me bashing my kid's mom in front of her, in front of my daughter, talking, oh, your mother did this. No, it's all about positivity in my home. And, well, like I said, I know that regardless of whatever we might feel about each other, we know that each of us love the children, and that comes first. A lot of people think that you got to be friends with your kid's mom in order for the kids to feel the love. Like in the perfect world, I would be friends with everybody. But if that's not necessarily the case, I still got to behave myself as a man of class and honor, and I still have to raise my children with love. And to me, that's the most important part. You know what I mean? And I know that, like I said, me and my kids mom don't like each other at all, but it's okay. Like we don't have to like each other. We love our children, but we also don't have to fight and argue every day, which we don't. We don't. You know, I personally don't even give it the energy, negativity on any space, any platform, any social media, anything. Regardless of whatever, I'm not going to entertain anything negative. I'm only going to be positive.
I see it the same way, brother, and I salute you on that, man. There's a reason why we have this vibe. You know what I'm talking about? Let's
Yeah,
take
man.
things on a different note now, real quick. I have just a few more minutes with you. What did Usher teach you about artistry?
Man, everything that has to do with being a star, I learned from Usher. Like carrying yourself in a certain way, uh, you know, understanding poise, understanding positioning, understanding timing, understanding how to behave in certain settings. Is just I learned all of that from Usher. Like he is a genius when it comes to just showmanship on all levels. And when I say showmanship, I mean the show is not just on the stage. The
Mm,
show is everywhere you are, and understanding that somebody's always watching you, and he gets that more than anybody I've ever been around. You know, so just learning that and then learning how not to do too much. Also, Usher doesn't entertain any negativity. He doesn't respond to anything. He doesn't like those type of things. I think are super important. You would never see Usher going on a rant on social media. You can accuse Usher of anything online. He's never going to tell you you're right or you're wrong. You're going to ignore it. You know what I mean? To me, that I respect that so much. It's like, bro, you're not about to get me to jump out the window out here. And I think I learned that the most from him. It's just like, nah. Well, if somebody says it and you believe it, then cool, believe it.
right.
That's it. It's
For
okay.
sure. Appreciate that insight, man.
Yeah,
What have you learned from failure that nobody talks about?
man, you find out how people really feel about you when you're failing, when
Mm,
something goes wrong, and it's a beautiful thing. It hurts in the moment, but in the long run, you have less friends and less people that you're gonna have to feed when you get back right. So I went through some terrible times, but I'm so happy because once the tables turned, it was less people at the table with an empty bowl.
mm, mm. Big one. Who in music right now is underrated?
Oh man, Drake. I think people kind of took Drake for granted. I think people think that Drake is, somehow all of a sudden not as talented as he was, like, which is insane. He was never the super cool guy. You know what I mean? Like that was never his
Mm,
thing. He was just a guy who made great records and knew how to adapt and adjust and write great songs and collaborate with incredible creatives and had one of the best ears in the business. So I think that all of a sudden to think that this guy automatically just doesn't have talent because somebody made a song against him is crazy. I think he's terribly underrated right now.
that's what's up. Well, let's see what happens with Iceman. That's about
Yeah,
to
May
drop.
15th. I'm looking forward
Yeah,
to it. Also, man,
likewise.
while we talking, I got an album dropping June 26th called 97 Bad Boy. I'm super excited about. I can't wait for the world to hear it. I'm working on it tirelessly. It's been a long time since I dropped the record, and I'm happy that how it's coming out, and I can't wait for the world to hear it.
Well, since we're on that topic, I was gonna get to it. You know I was.
Yeah. Yeah.
But since we on it right now, what brought about that album? Why did you feel like this was the time? What was the thought process into to putting this together right now?
Man, I took my daughter to New York for uh, Valentine's Day. And we just hanging around the city, and I'm walking around, and everybody's, but maybe 20 or 30 people stop me. Turn the lights on, Rico, when we go to the album. Usually people just say, turn the lights on, turn the lights on. But people kept asking about an album. And I was like, man, it just felt right. Then I go back, I'm listening on the flight to songs, and they were consistently, sonically, I was spending a few months and I was writing songs that felt like this certain era. And I said, okay, I'm having a real conversation that I didn't realize I was having. And it
Mm,
just, in an instant, and realized it's time. So I think I made the decision February 16th, like I'm doing this. And
that's
it's been
amazing,
beautiful.
man. How many songs have you put together so far?
I got 12. I want to narrow it down to 10. So but I keep making records. So I want to keep it at 10, hopefully 12 the most.
And are you doing any features, or this is focused kind of on you, or there's a multitude?
Oh man, I might do a few features. I really have some ideas, but right, so right now it's just me, but I think there's a few nostalgic looks that I want to have. I actually
Nice.
got Q Parker from 112 doing some backgrounds on
What?
this song. Yeah,
Okay.
it's really dope, really
Nice.
dope.
You talked about the sonic part of the music, mentally, and kind of where you at, because you know your pen is sick. What direction did you feel that this album is going in?
Man, sex, love, and happiness. I really, I really, I really am focusing on that. It's not a sad album. It's not a, I'm going through it album like Turn the Lights On or even King's Die. This album is really about making love, making money, being happy, you know.
My kind of music.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Well,
man.
we looking forward to it. Tell everybody when it drops again, please, for me, sir.
June 26th, 97 Bad Boy. It's special. It's real special.
All right, so you know we got to see you at the radio station for that as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
um, just on a high note, what advice would you give young men about love and purpose?
Oh, man. Once you find your purpose, love is so much more easier.
Mm,
Once you are comfortable in knowing what you are put on this earth to do, then anything that opposes that, it'll be easy to decide that's if the love is there for that thing. If it doesn't
mm.
align itself with your gift, once you so deep into your purpose, everything else makes sense to you. Trust me.
I feel that one. I feel that one. Uh, Rico Love, thank you so much again for this opportunity. I don't take it lightly. I'm looking forward to the album dropping. Looking forward to you to come to the radio station so we could talk about that specifically when that time comes. But I think what I'm more grateful for is just the opportunity for you to just drop these gems that you've dropped today on my podcast that's going to live forever and it's going to be timeless. And people now have a space and will be able to share your thoughts and your genius with their friends and family. And I'm just really grateful for this opportunity, man. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for your contributions to
Thank you,
music.
brother.
You are my favorite songwriter of
Hmm.
all times. No
Man,
question
thank you, bro.
about it, man. So thank you for your existence.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you, man. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without you. You know what I mean? You've kept us alive for so long, and just to be able to have the humility to, you know, say the things that you say and show the love that you show, it goes a long way. I saw you at the Soho House a couple weeks
Yeah,
ago, man, and man, you wouldn't let me buy you a drink, man. You paid for the drinks, and I just really, I'm like, man, that's just cool that this guy really has a certain love for me as a brother, man, and that you don't get that a lot. I appreciate. I want you to know that love is reciprocated
definitely.
to you. Yeah.
Every time, man. It goes without saying. Listen, if y'all, I have a lot of other interviews with Rico where I go into his history and stuff like that. I'll post those after this one that you'll be able to check out on my network, Papa Keith Podcast. So if you're in love with this guy or you've been in love with him and you want to understand more about him, I have 3 other interviews that you could get to learn
Mhm.
even more about him, man, for real. So make sure and check those out. Rico Love, thank you so much for your time, brother. Love you. I'll see you
Love you,
next
bro.
month when you promote the album at the
Yes,
radio
yes,
station, and we'll get crazy
yeah.
with that. All right, brother?
Let's do it. All right, bro.
All right. Don't hang up yet. Just hold on a minute.
Okay.